Okay. So we have this next piece of state that is the endpoint. And inside of views effect, we're going to have it care about the endpoint. And we're going to say fetch endpoint dot then res.json dot then data, and then we'll say set countries data. Okay, so lines 9 through 13.
What is res?
Like result,
Okay.
doesn't matter what you call it. It's just, you're just giving the then a callback function here, right? And we're implicitly returning what comes back from the JSON function. And then we get the actual JSON data here. So remember with fetch, it gives you back a result, and it includes like the headers and all sorts of different functions. So you can get the data however you want. And so you have to call the helper functions to actually get the data.
So endpoint is calling from use state endpoint.
Yeah, endpoint is just this string,
Yeah.
right? We could just put the string here too.
Mm-hmm.
But this way we don't have to recreate this every time. We'll put like a little thing in that when we change that select box, it'll set the new endpoint. And then that endpoint will be what makes this go refetch. And then it'll always just update countries, and we won't have to do anything else. That make sense?
If we only have one page, will we need the use state or will we just do const URL?
So yeah, if you were just going to hit one endpoint, you can just have that be a constant. And we could move this to a constant, but because we want to re-hit the API anytime it changes, which one we care about, that's why we set this up. So
Why is JSON capital sometimes and not?
So this one is just a function on the result. There is a JSON keyword in React that's capitalized, and that's the interface to read and to parse and stringify JSON. So it has those two functions on it. So this is like the date keyword is capitalized, right? Or object. So it's an interface. Whereas this is just somebody named the function JSON. All right. You good?
I guess.
Okay.
I'm broken up, but that's okay.
So,
I'll figure it out later.
does everybody have the React dev tools installed?
I was wondering that.
I'm just not sure. I saw that in the API video, but I wasn't sure if you had already done it.
Yeah, when you said that, I'm like, what?
Okay,
I've never
so
seen that red thing on my other browsers.
Let's see that. That's all right.
so go to that link, and then you'll hit the install button in the resources
Sign
channel.
us up for a virus.
I am. Every piece of software is a virus of some sort.
So what do you want, Chrome?
There's a link in resources channel in Slack.
Oh, Slack, okay.
Hit that link.
Oh, okay. Hit it.
You just click it. And you click the install button or add to Chrome. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now once you do that, In your DevTools, under the arrow, you'll see these two components and profiler. Okay, see it? You may have to close and reopen DevTools.
And where is it now? Say it again. Where's it at?
Click the little arrow right here next to sources,
Okay.
or whatever you have next. There should be a little double arrow thing
On this
in
one
here.
Okay.
Do you see the components in the profiler?
No.
Try refreshing the whole page.
I will.
That work?
Yeah.
You had to refresh, that's all you had to do, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go to the components one, then this kind of works like the elements. If you use their arrow here instead of the one above it, you can click it and then go to any component, and then you can see that component in the profiler or in the components tree. So if we had more things than just app that was just a string, then we'd have more of a tree here. But the thing we can see is we can see all the hooks that are being used right now. So we can go and see here is the state, which is all of those countries that are coming back. So 250 countries came back. This is the current state of our country or our endpoint, and then we also have this effect, right? The other way we can see is we can go to the network tab and hit refresh, and we can see that this is also pulling down. Okay? So for some reason we're hitting it twice, which we don't want to do, so we'll have to look at that and fix it too. Because this should only be calling if the endpoint changed. That's interesting. So yeah, when it comes down, then we can also see all of them here in the preview in our network tab. Okay, so when you're working with APIs, this is the best place to see stuff. But then if you need to make sure it's being saved where you want it, you can also come look in your React DevTools and see all the state and everything, and then also see your React tree. Once we start building a React tree, we'll see more of that here. Okay, so now that we have all of our countries, we're going to use that data. I'm going to get rid of this div and just make it a React fragment. And I'm going to use countries and map over them. Okay, and I'm going to create a div for each country. ID equals C. Let's go look at what's coming down so I can see there should be. So CCN or CCA3, CCN3, so CCA3, I think is a unique identifier. So that we have an ID, or that should be a key though. Okay, and then we need to have an image. It's just for React to keep track of which one it's rendering. So whenever you map, if you don't throw a unique key on every single one, then React will complain. See, it already complained. Each child on the list should have a unique key prop. Alright, so our source on our image is going to be c dot, I think it was flags dot png. and then our alt equals, we're gonna do a string backticks, flag of, and then in here we'll say c dot name dot common. Okay, and then make sure you close your image. So now you should see a whole bunch of flags show up on the screen.
Ooh, I haven't seen
Remember how I removed that div? I'm going to add it back because we're going to want it for styling purposes. Save a fragment. Okay, after the image, I'm going to do an H2, and that will be the name, so c.name.common. Make sure you have your closing.
So the CCA3 is what exactly, I mean, I know what it's doing, but where did you get?
It's just in the data.
I was too close.
Oh, yeah, like to do.
Yeah. So it's just part of the data, and I'm pretty sure that this is like some sort of identifier for each country. I'm assuming the 3 has something to do with it being the 3rd iteration of this API, but I don't know for sure. So this could be like totally normal country thing that I just don't know about. But it seems like nothing else would be Finn except for Finland.
There's nothing other than Finland.
Yes, right?
I'm pretty sure.
But also, all 250 flags and names are showing, and I'm not getting any error that any of them are using the same key, so it should be good. If you were to use the same key, then it would tell you that one or more is using the same one.
And then the .com and this, sorry, I missed where you got that from.
Underneath name, so let me make this bigger. So in the all, there's a name key, and name has common, native name, and official name.
Okay. Common name.
And then it has the native name in Finnish in this one, and in Swedish.
So you're using the data from the API to determine what
Yes.
the data is.
Yeah, so and the only reason I knew that was because I already looked through this API, so that I had an idea of what I would need to use. But
You
so-
can all find in the extension you
no, this will be the network extension, or the network tab, which is just already there. Yeah, it's still in the arrows.
Oh, there it is, right down there. Okay.
So, and so the flags came from flags on this, and then PNG. So that's the URL for the flag. And right now, I have, in my network, I have this fetch XHR turned on. That way I'm only looking at API calls. If you go to all, you're gonna see a whole bunch of other stuff in here. It's gonna be a lot harder to see because you're gonna have all of these flags are gonna be in there too, right? So if you click on this fetch XHR, that's gonna show you just your API endpoint calls. Okay? Well, it's probably just because mine is every time it refreshes, it's gonna call.
Okay.
We can fix that later, but so it doesn't make as many calls. I'm making 2 right off the bat, which is bad. So there. Okay, so the other thing we need is the population, which if we look at here, there's a population key on here. So So we're gonna do a div. And inside that, we'll just throw c.population. And the next one will have the region, which I believe is also the key for that, and then capital, which I think is also the key for that. And then we want to just throw some text in front of those. Okay, so now we should have a flag, name, population with the number, region with the region, and capital with the capital thing. Okay. Because we're using Tailwind, we can just throw a class name on this div, and we'll say grid calls for small grid calls. I changed it back to a div so that I could do this. Medium grid calls. So where was So we'll do grid calls 2 and then large grid calls 4. We'll give it a gap of I think 20 pixels here and 30 there maybe. That's probably 40, so that's 40 and 30. So gap x is 5 and gap y is 10. Change this one to 7. 7?
Times
Yeah. That should be it. We'll do background, gray, 300, nope, 200, nope, 100, nope, so 50. That might be okay. And then on this div, we're going to throw another class name. And this one will be background point. Rounded, small. A little bit bigger, medium. Shadow. medium. Oops. Up on the top div. Add a padding 10. Is there a grid wrap? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay. All right, everybody got that so far?
Brick Creek. What was your padding again?
And the padding
Is that the
10,
name?
I think. P10.
Yeah, okay.
Be nice if this would wrap. Very ugly, but that way you can see them.
Tab and shift tab.
Yes. I'll try and do that one, long ones. Okay, so down on the card, the image, we're gonna add a class name, and it's gonna be width full, is that right? And then cover, background cover? No, not background cover. What's this called? Full. There should be a object fit. that's even doing anything, so. Okay,
So it says 4.
what?
It says 4.
Just, yeah, with full. And then let's add a div here. That can be the card content. So around the name and the population region and capital, we're gonna put a class name on that. And it's gonna be padding. Let's go 5 on that one. Go 7.
Is it inside of the other div or outside?
It's inside the other div, so it should be a sibling with the image. And then all of these things should be inside of it. Page 2 class name will be font bold. And then let's go, is it font? Oh, text. Let's go large. Oh, good. And do margin bottom. Set that to 16. So 4, margin bottom 4. And that should be good. Alright, so each of these are bolded. So we're going to throw wrap a span around them with the class of font semi-bold. Equals the font. Okay. So and if yours fits on one line, you don't have to do this, but this is the same as you can do end non-breaking space as well. To give it that space in between. Or you can do a space like that. Because without this, then it'll just sit right next to each other. There won't be a space there. Most likely when it formats, it'll figure it out and do it for you. Okay.
Just do the class, instead of class name.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it should be class name. And then yeah, that looks good. The image needs to have a border radius. Like that. So each of these, Travis, each of these divs,
Yeah.
we threw a span around the title
Right.
and then added the semi-bold font.
So you put like a closing span after population, let's see, and is it like that all the way down?
Yeah, I added a span around
Everything, everything on Spanish?
each of those.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, just wanna make sure. So that mine wasn't saving the way it was supposed to. And it's
And then
font semi-bold, yeah?
yeah, then I added this rounded TMD on the image
Okay.
so that the top of the image would round. On the rounded top.
Just got rid of my, open brackets and parentheses, like a space.
You what?
VSCode just got rid of my space.
You may not need it.
Why not?
Is it all in one line?
Okay, so the H2 class, you changed something up there?
The image. Yeah, on the image I have rounded. So look on line 34
Now 34, okay.
with
Class
whole and
name
rounded.
With, okay, with whole, okay.
I like a lot of these flags, man.
I know, right?
They're
They're
cool.
very inspiring. When I couldn't find work in Sweden and I was just stuck at my mother-in-law's house, I would get on the internet and just go to a
So-
different country every day.
You don't need to do this.
Okay,
You can have those all be on one line.
so what do I do to do that?
Just put your cursor here. I just put them on multiple lines so you can read them.
Backspace?
Do option J. I think that will concatenate the line.
This
No?
one's on.
Did it work?
No.
Try control or command J then.
It's very cool.
Nope. Try control J.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So just
Now
keep
can
going,
do, yeah.
just keep going, yeah?
Yep. One more.
It's very simple.
And save it.
It's like off center.
Yeah, I got a lot of,
With your div.
yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on here. I was gonna go back and clean it up later.
Those are cool. Eloise is pretty thin on the side.
But it's not gonna format.
Yeah, I
You
know.
won't know what's wrong because
Right.
of it. Right here, there's an opening with a 1 and there's a closing with a 2. So
Sure.
change this one to 2.
Where?
Do you see the quote? This is a single quote and that's 2
Yeah, yeah.
double quote.
Well, yeah, well, I thought it would fix it by itself.
No, it won't do that.
Oh, okay.
Is that what happened on the other div? Do you have a single quote at the end of this one?
No, still. Double, everything is double because I did that. Actually, by mistake, but hopefully we get that here. Yeah, here.
Higher, because before you, so these should all be
Yeah,
class
see,
name.
and this one here in the double. Okay. Okay, there we go.
But right here you need to go class name.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, but it just added.
Yeah,
equals
I'll
for
erase
you.
it. You don't have a closing div there? I have on my closing div.
Scroll up a little bit more.
I'm good here. It's just down here.
If you highlight or hover over the div, what does it say? No corresponding closing tag. So go to the bottom and just
Add a div. So I have,
add one more closing div.
okay.
There you go. I'll save it.
There we go. That was it?
Yeah.
Just the closing div, okay.
All right. Ready?
Ready.
Oh, Colin's not here, or Sharice isn't here.
So my theory is, because this is Hawaii, whenever I mess up, if something breaks, it turns red, which is the lava seeping through the green,
Yes.
chasing everybody into the ocean. So I don't want that to happen on my. So this helps me.
Clear your concept.
Yeah, because see the ocean and the sand and then the grass, and whenever it's red, it's usually right in here, and yeah. So, and then he doesn't like the orange, so the orange is
Orange is
magma.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting lava.
It's extra sand,
Yeah, synthetic sand.
dark sand.
Like glass beach sand?
Yeah,
Okay.
wet sand.
Wet sand. Ooh. Yeah, I hate wet sand. Dry
All right.
sand. Okay.
So now we have all of our flags, right? What we need to do is we need to have a search bar. We need a div or a nav bar, and we need this drop down. So let's go. Let's create a new component. I'm gonna call this one.
From the source, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Let's create a new component in source called navbar.js. I'm gonna create a new folder called components. And I'm gonna move navbar in there because it will drive me crazy to
So
have
that
it on
one,
this one.
that's a folder, yeah, not a file. Yeah.
It's a file.
Oh. Okay.
That one's components though. Call that one components
Okay.
with a lowercase c.
And any components you want me to do?
And navbar.js.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna create a export const navbar equals. Okay. And we're gonna do a return nav, and in the design it says H1 is going to say where in the world, and then we're going to have a button that has, does Tailwind have icons? Alright, let's do that. So in the resources channel, do an npm install. Okay, so we're gonna do npm install at hero icons react.
Where is it to go back to the folder in the terminal?
That's because you're running React. So either, what is it?
To go back to the folder in the terminal?
Go back a folder?
No, to go to the folder, whatever you call it.
When you open it, it should already be there, right?
No, I have my last one, the warnings from when I did the install.
Warning 1, warning 6.
Oh, so you're probably running React in that one. So Control C will get you out of React,
Gotcha.
and then you can run npm install,
Yes, that's what
and then run npm start.
The same thing, at,
Yes.
okay.
Doesn't seem like anything's happening, but I have to. Did you open up another terminal?
I have a second one. So you need to quit that or yeah, second one and
There we go.
And this folder.
then. If you go to the
Oh, I put in still.
resources
God
channel.
damn it. In still, that's not gonna do anything.
Run that in your terminal, and then restart.
Should I open another one? Turn it over,
For what?
like here?
It's already running because you're running npm.
No, my computer didn't like the fact that I asked it to instill, or not even
Yeah,
instill.
You got it, huh? Okay.
Oh, then do it, okay, sorry, I'll put it in.
Yeah, npm start if you stopped. Okay, so now we should have the icons. I've never used this icon set, so we will find out how it is.
And on.
We want a moon. Okay, so in the nav bar, we're gonna add inside the button. Oh, what, I have to do that? I don't wanna do that.
What did you do?
Oh,
What did
I
you
just,
do?
I just hit copy JSX.
And all that came out, huh?
And I don't want all that. I have to do that?
And all that's for suckers.
Yeah, that is for suckers. You're right.
Should have extra stuff in it. I learned from you, brother.
In the docs, it said that I could just install like this. So let's see. Let's say moon icon. No, come on. Beaker icon. Let's do this. Import, and we'll just do open and close from at hero icons react /24 / solid. Was it solid that we wanted or outline? We want outline. Outline. And we're gonna install just the moon icon. There it is. Moon icon. Save it and see if it worked. Oh, I guess we're not using it yet. So, and then it should say dark mode next to it. So, once you have that, then we want to go back to app.js and let's see, we have this div with our countries above that div. So we want to wrap this div in a fragment. So above the div, do an opening closing like this.
Oh, okay.
And then below the very last div, do the closing like that. Got it? Okay, so now above the div, we're going to add, I'm just going to move all these back since we don't need to see them anymore. So above this div, I'm going to now put our nav bar, which if you find the one that has your path to it, click it, should install it. If it doesn't install it, then you just need to come up and install it that way. But you should get this huge nav bar up here that looks super ugly, but it worked. And look, we have a moon. Okay. Everybody see their nav bar?
Can I see the?
Yours didn't install. That's why it's red.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I see, it's terrible.
Nav bar,
Oh, you can
I have all of the nav bar. So,
I did install.
Okay, yeah.
That means I didn't install.
Do you mean
Everything.
Yeah, you didn't import it.
Okay. So just control command C.
No. You created this file here.
Yeah.
You just didn't import it at the top
Oh,
of
okay.
the file. So, Therese, there's the nav bar.
Oh,
So, if you go here, next to the where it's red,
yeah.
and then hit quick fix.
Stay.
Hit the light bulb. You gotta be, the cursor's gotta be on it. Nope. Do control space. Space. Not, no. Not now.
So it was the import, yeah? The moon icon, yeah? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I
No,
did
no,
that.
no. The import of navbar. So
This one I did that one.
that one.
Oh, you did it? How'd you do that? Well, you,
Control
yes,
space.
because when you do that, yeah, it pops up over here, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah.
It's supposed to.
So I, with it red,
Yeah.
I did control space,
Okay,
and then that popped up and I hit enter.
there you go.
That's it.
I know that.
All right. So everybody got this?
Yep.
Okay, let's style it. So class name is going to be flex, and then we'll do space between. Oh yeah, I think it's justify between, and then align center. Nope, it's items center. And then let's see, let's do padding, it's gonna be 20 now. Alright, on the moon, we're gonna say font, or no, text small, is that right? Nope, gotta go see how to actually style these. Okay, so we'll do height 6. What's 6? Sure. Width 6. Okay. Let's do flex fonts on this button and gap 3. Maybe 2. And items center. Okay. And then the H1 we're gonna do class name is text large, extra large, 2 extra large, and then font size, or no, font bold, and up here, make this 6. Let's see.
Yeah, right? Can't go wrong with that, bro. It's just self-contained.
Why 6? Then let's see. We want to have a shadow on it too. So we'll say shadow, and this looks like it's kind of a small shadow. Yeah. Maybe medium shadow. Why isn't the shadow showing? No, it should just give me a shadow. Is there a shadow below?
Oh yeah, I see it below. I see it below that. Like,
You're looking at this one? Oh, down here, yeah, that's
down
on
there
a different
the
one.
flag, yeah.
This, I'm trying to get it up on this one.
Oh, okay.
No, should just be able to say like shadow, and it should show up.
And it should show up. Yeah, that is a little bit too stark there.
Let's drop shadow.
Drop shadow is probably the text shadow. No, I would think that was called text shadow. It does show that I should have a shadow. But computed box shadow. Setting it to 0 though, which is not making sense. Offset shadow, which is, do I have to set a color? I didn't set a color on the other ones, did I? Just did shadow medium, right?
You did great, didn't you?
Did I?
I remember you doing great.
On the card?
Somewhere. I think it was a shadow. When it was on the background.
Yeah, I just said shadow medium. Yeah. Let's see if I set a background color here. Nope. That's weird. Shadow black. Shadow large. Shadow extra large.
Anything.
Drop shadow medium. Hey,
There we go. See how to drop the shadow? That's all.
it's dumb. What? That's weird.
It is weird.
I want a small one.
Because the shadow was behind it.
No, I like the medium, but I want to change the color. Drop shadow. can I not change the color? Shadow green 500. See if it changes the color or not.
So you just put, drop shadow, just shadow green.
I didn't see a way to change the drop shadow color. Yeah, I don't know. Guess we'll just stick with that. What's the difference in the CSS for that? There's like a drop shadow filter on it. It's weird. Anyway, I'm not sure why it didn't work with the regular shadow. Alright, so now we have that. We've got these done. And we need a, so in components, let's add a search.js. We'll make the dark mode button work later. Don't worry about it for now. Okay, so export const. Search equals arrow function. It's going to be an input. Well, let's see. Actually, we're going to make it a div. In the div, we're going to add a icon from at Hero Icons React 24 outline. This one's going to be magnifying glass icon. Put that magnifying glass icon in. And then next to it we'll put an input. Equals text. Placeholder equals search for a country dot dot dot. Then once you have that, go back and underneath the nav bar and app, add search. Okay. Yes. It's very large.
Navbar JS?
Yeah. No, in underneath nav bar and app.js.
Oh, actually, there we go.
Yeah, make sure you import it.
too, like on this React 24.
Outline. Let's do this as, how did they do their coloring on it? Text. Okay. Text gray 300. No 600. No 400. No 500. I don't like any of those. Is there 450? Nope, 400 it is. And shadow medium. Nope, not on the icon. I meant to put it on the div. Also, I want that to be. Let's see, we'll fix that in a second. So, once you're all done with that, then we'll add the other drop down.
This is so cool. Why is this?
This looks like a custom drop down. I don't want to build a custom drop down.
We could just skip it.
We can't skip it. We'll just use a drop down and then we'll, if we feel like we want to update it, we'll do it later.
Can you put the classroom on the input so that it's bigger?
Uh-huh.
The font and
Yes. We could do that. So we could also, let's see, class name, outline, none. We'll get rid of that blue thing. And then fonts or text medium. Is it the font? No,
What size?
there's not a font size there. Fonts. No, I think it's text, small, medium, large. Yeah, you can do that. I think medium would be better though. Perfect. Alright, everybody got that? We can go make another component in the components folder. We're gonna call this one dropdown.js. And then we're gonna export const dropdown equals return. Alright, so this is a select. And the options are gonna be filter by region. And then we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. First one is Africa. And then you can put a value in here that has the name of it. America. Asia. Europe. Okay. Once you have that, then add it to your app.js. And we're also going to add a div around search and the drop down. Flex, and then it's going to be justify between. And padding's going to be, what do we set on that, 10? Oh, you know what, we want that inside of our, oh, shoot. I guess we can just set the background to be the same color. What color did we set? Gray, 100 or 200?
You only want the search and the drop down inside and the div.
Gray 50. What?
The search and drop down and the div inside the div.
Correct. We'll have to go fix a couple of things though. Yeah.
What's your backup color? 250?
Just 50.
Just.
Yeah. We want just the X to be 10. And then we're going to have Y be 5. So now we got to go back and change because we didn't add a background color on this search. So we need to do background white and search and
Is this for the div or for
the div.
that one?
Yeah, BG hyphen white.
Search
And
div.
then search, yeah.
Okay, so the whole search div is.
Yeah. And then we'll, I don't know what we can do to the drop down. Let's go try and add some classes and see what happens. Yeah, see, that didn't do anything. Oh, it rounded medium. Let's do shadow medium. Ooh, it's working. Padding 5. It's weird that it doesn't give you padding on the one side though. Anyway, that gives us good enough, right? Maybe we can do, change this to a lowercase t. I'm going to change the text gray 400. We'll go 600. 500. Sure. Okay. Kind of looks okay. It's interesting that it doesn't have any padding on this side though. That's bothersome. So what we could do is we could throw a div around this and then have that div be what we style. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, let's just see if it. Let's get rid of the. We'll try to get rid of all that. Yeah. Yeah, that works. Except for the you have to click right on the words instead of anywhere on that white box.
Could we just add a margin to the select aspect? And then get rid of any
If we did,
spacing of the div?
so no, because if we add a margin, it's not going to keep the background color there. What we could do is we could take this back down here, get rid of rounded like this, have padding right there, background white on that, shadow medium on this, and let's do the rounded here. And then get rid of that outline. There. Now it works unless you click on right there. But if we make this a label instead of a div, then we probably didn't need to do any of this. No. When you click on the right, it doesn't work, right? Yeah. So, div's fine. And now you can click outside of the text in other spots, just not to the right. It looks good-ish. Look like that's not rounded. Around this. Yeah. Throw a rounded medium on the select too, because the top left corner wasn't rounded for some reason. That should give it what we need. So there's the drop down, and then I'm going to pull app down here. So you can see the div here that holds search and drop down. Have we got both of those?
Hold up, sir.
Okay. I can hold up.
Just for a second, just wanna make sure I got everything in there.
Is anybody else missing anything else?
I was in, something.
The outline.
Which one?
P5.
So
Doesn't
there's the
matter.
drop down, and then there's the.
Doesn't matter
Yeah.
where I put the P5, can it be before the rounded?
No, it doesn't matter the order,
Yeah.
as long as it's in the class name somewhere.
So you don't have a background in white anymore?
Just on the div.
You did, okay.
It wouldn't matter if you left it though.
Yeah, I thought so. But you know, I like to be like you. Like Mike.
I'm not Mike.
Oh.
This is a non-bar.
Yes.
Family Mike. He has a bald head like one, so I don't know.
No, that didn't work.
People might be doing it a lot of times.
Apparently not their names.
Yeah, maybe like me.
And the amount of money.
Yeah, you know,
Notoriety.
basketball team. You wouldn't even own it, you go baseball.
I don't think I would even buy a baseball
No,
team.
you don't want to be in that.
Maybe soccer team.
But it's
There,
not-
a lot of teams are buying
So
soccer
you're Ryan
teams.
Reynolds now.
You see teams are buying
Ryan
soccer
Reynolds
teams.
owns a
AC
soccer team?
Milan. Now, there's a lot of teams buying soccer
Is
teams.
AC Milan what he owns?
Somebody just, some baseball team just ownership of AC Milan.
But what did Ryan Reynolds buy?
I don't know.
Oh, it was, yeah, it was a terrible soccer team.
Yeah, I think they made like a
Yeah, they
or
did.
a mini documentary about it.
Yeah.
About him buy? Is it an MLS team?
No, European. Yeah, English Premier.
Okay.
Oh my God,
Poor guy.
Ryan.
Poor guy, you can't do right. You buy any team in English Premiership, you just go, they're gonna throw stones
So
at
that's
people.
not a soccer team. That's a football team.
It's a football team, excuse me.
He also bought some. Is it a vodka?
Oh, yeah.
Gin.
Is it
Aviation
gin?
gin. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty dope.
Is it?
Yeah.
If they lose.
I like the commercials.
If I was that team, I would play videos of him, getting beat up.
So
So he bought like the soccer team, Aviation Gin, and Mint Mobile.
Wow. Okay, then my
Mint
friend.
Mobile is like a cheaper mobile thing.
makes
All
sense.
kind of around the same time, it feels like.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
maybe I just like
He probably needed some tax write-offs.
yeah, or I just fell
Smart
on
man.
Ryan Reynolds rabbit hole and was like, I learned all these things.
Yeah. Have you seen the Aviation Gin commercials? Did you see the one with the?
Play it.
Did you see the Peloton one?
Play it. I wanna see it.
No.
Did you ever see the commercial that got a bunch of slack for the lady getting the Peloton for Christmas from her husband? Did you ever see
Because
that
they were
one?
talking about like, oh yeah, because we all have like $800 to throw
No,
away.
because they were like, she looked like she was like being forced to work out essentially by her
No.
husband. Yeah.
So import search, right?
So here we
What are you
go.
doing talking about code?
Import search,
This is
right?
important, Chad.
Yeah, we can do this.
Oh, I got it.
Yes, import search. Peloton backlash commercial. Here it is, I think.
Poor guy.
So then, like, cause her face, cause her,
Well, yeah, her eyebrows, man. They should have got a better actress, that's all. See, her eyebrows look scared.
well, she said she was nervous about it. Like,
Yeah, her eyes keep going.
but yeah, so there was like a ton of backlash for that
She's so
commercial.
scared.
She does this
She
thing.
has the healthy eyes.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
They should have realized that and found another actress. That's all. That's their fault.
Don't blame the actress.
Bro,
She was obviously held against her will.
I don't know if she's being prisoner. Like they're holding me on here. Oh, there she is again. Scared.
So this is the Aviation Gin commercial.
She still looks scared. Yes, and I was. They didn't learn from their.
When you get you another one, you're safe here. To new beginnings.
New beginnings.
Nah, I wanted to cosmopolitan.
You look great, by the way.
Was the girl the one on the right?
It was the one in the middle.
The one in the middle, yeah, same one.
How did that
How did,
So he went and found that actress for his
Oh, okay.
aviation gin commercial and had her like, because there was so much backlash,
Backlash?
and she was like, no, it's not supposed to be like that, like, you know, and so he went and found her and and put her in and had it be like where she was like drinking it off. The ad had gotten so much
It's funny,
backlash.
you think that she
Yeah,
probably thought her career was over?
You look great, by the way.
Yeah.
She's been using the Peloton.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bunch of his commercials are funny. His whole war with Hugh Jackman's funny too.
I did not hear about that.
Well, they're like
They're like frenemies.
And they're
It's like the
Yeah, 'cause Wolverine and
Matt
Deadpool.
Damon and Jimmy
Because-
Kimmel thing.
Wolverine and Deadpool was supposed to be like, you know, in comics they're like that.
But he's played Deadpool in 2 different franchises now. So
Right.
he was in the Wolverine franchise as Deadpool before he was Deadpool.
Yeah, I remember
right?
that.
Yeah.
And then they make him Deadpool,
But
but
it's
it's like a bad version of
No
it.
mouth and it's.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So, okay. Did you get the nav bar?
Yeah, it's something is funky, it's this rating.
Yeah, make sure yours is rendering.
Yeah, I have this one I don't understand, but I'll get it later. I'll look see what it's happening.
So,
It's right
these,
here.
wait, go back.
PG.
These need to be inside of that tab.
Oh, that's what it is. Is that div supposed to be at the bottom then?
It just needs to be underneath the
I
drop
don't need
down.
to drop down. Okay. Oh, I have to keep doing that.
I think you're clicking on the map,
There we go.
commanding that.
Okay.
I turned off commanding. I
I'm
hate
reading it.
Let's go to that. Nice, add bar, div class name. So you have
Yeah, so
PG grant, what is this?
50.
That's what it is.
Just the smallest little things, you know?
The smallest little things. I'm still off by 1 minute.
this window's open.
Yeah, no, it's, actually the other day we closed it, it was like fully open. Like the type way that you can jump out if you like to.
It's not open. Just doesn't close very well. I don't remember it being so noisy.
Maybe because these things are soundproofing, and when you're down, who knows? Because
Well, I guess
usually
the
they're not
dogs are really loud. Remember when the dogs bark?
Yeah.
It's pretty loud.
Who's that there dog over that hole?
Okay.
Got it?
Thank you.
Who's that there dog over that hole?
Most likely.
All right. So
Oh, I'm missing one. I'm missing these, right? There's supposed to be these on each one, right?
what?
There should be these.
You only need them if it's on a new line.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So because when you do a new line, React won't
Gotcha.
it won't keep the line or the space.
Right.
So you need either this or a non-breaking space
Gotcha.
when it puts on new lines.
Okay.
Okay, so we should have this, yeah? So we have the drop down here, this guy here. We should put maybe a min width on that, but all right, cool.
You got any sweet in there, bro?
Okay, so now we just need to make those 2 things work. I don't know if there's a. We'll just do a filter on this one, and then this one will actually make a new call. So let's look at how we make that call. I think there was region. So yes. Yeah, so on the drop down, we're gonna add a on change, and we're gonna say handle change, and above the return, we're going to say const handle change equals This is going to get an event because we're getting the change event there. Okay, and we should be able to say event.target.value. Let's just console log that.
I'm getting red squiggles
On what?
under event.target.value.
Do you have event here?
Yes.
I'm not getting red squigglies. Console. Mine works. Let me come look. Oh yeah. If you just put it with nothing, then you'll get red squigglies.
It's not assigning it to something.
Yeah.
Alright, what are we calling the handle change? What are we calling it? Where?
On the select, there's an on
Oh, okay,
change.
return, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you don't have to follow all the returns of my attributes. Pretty's just doing that for me. So,
So you chop it up the head of fascinating.
yep.
Okay.
Okay, so anytime that changes now, we should get the value back. Okay, so in app, we're going to create a function that is const handle drop down equals. Let's do handle region instead of handle drop down, sorry. And we're gonna call that region. And we're gonna do handle region equals handle region on the drop down itself. Okay, so in here, we're going to then push the endpoint. So this is where it would make sense to make this a constant so that we don't have to retype this. Okay, so I'm going to put const URL equals, and I'm going to move this up there and put URL here instead. Okay, app JS.
Yeah, I mean,
So the const URL is above the app, so outside of it.
okay, gotcha.
Okay, and then in handle region, we're gonna say if not region. So if you choose the first one, the filter by region, then we want to return set endpoint to URL. Okay. Else we're going to set endpoint and this will be backtick string, and we just need to get, so it's essentially that same URL, but it's going to be /region/ and region. Okay, so and then the other thing we could do is you could create like a const base URL and take this part out since we're reusing that. And then do base URL, and then this one down here can be base URL. And that way you don't have to retype this all the time too. What?
Typing's for
Suckers.
Yeah. Typing's for suckers, that's true. That's a good point.
Why doesn't anyone see it?
Yeah. From day one. Never let it forget.
Alright, so now if I filter Africa, oh, this doesn't work yet, so we need to go, once you have all this, let me know. So we just need the handle region and then this line changed and these lines changed. Got it?
I'm just gonna grab over my base, under my base.
You don't have to have the base URL. Because you probably didn't define it
I
up
can hear
here.
you.
So just copy that line down.
Which one, this whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then paste it underneath.
Underneath where?
Just right there.
Right below it?
Yeah, right below it. Okay, so call this one base URL, the first one. First one? No, not that
Oh,
one.
the first one. Okay. Capital D.
Yeah. Yeah, so you'll notice when you do like constants like these, a
Yeah.
lot of times it's good to have them be capitalized.
Okay.
When they're never going to change. Because that way you'll look at your code and know these are constants, like real constants that are never changing ever,
Right.
right? Whereas these constants, the value will change. But this one, the value will never change. So take off all
Yeah.
and the slash.
And the slash.
And then down here, change this value to be you can just get rid of the value completely.
What do you mean, right, the whole thing?
Yeah, just get rid of from equals over. Keep equals and get rid of the rest. Do back ticks. Good. And then do dollar sign.
Oh, the
So-
same thing you got there?
Yeah, what I
Okay.
got on line 7.
Gotcha.
And then slash all
Slash.
after the.
That takes all side, yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
and then this needs to have URL inside of it.
What, sorry, what does? Oh, the, parameters.
There you go.
Then,
Alright, so, and then you need to pass that to the drop down.
drop down, okay. Got this source there. Oh, okay, right in
Yeah.
there.
Yep. Hit enter. There you go.
There it is. Just gotta do the coding.
Okay. What? I don't know. I can't get them to stop, and they're driving me crazy. I'm really mad about it. Actually, I'm assuming it's this thing.
Running test.
Stop it. How do I get it to stop?
Oh, stop it.
Is that part of the new installing or whatever?
I don't know. I think it's it must be something I have installed. Stop. That looks like a stop button. Kill. But it still runs, so. Stop. I don't want it anymore.
Is that clear or something?
Yeah, clear all text at the beginning. Or
That-
the results.
That's clear all results.
Yeah. It's gonna have to be like,
I don't know. It's driving me insane.
it's just, it's like listening to that,
Battery
that
on my.
soundtrack, huh? It's like listening to that, soundtrack I think you listened to the other day.
Yeah,
Driving
it's
crazy.
worse. It's worse than the
Worse than
soundtrack.
that? Okay.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack wasn't that bad. It was a little creepy. All right, in drop down, we need to accept that handle region. So handle region, and then we call it here region. Okay, so now if you go and you change it to Africa, it should redo the search. Oh, look at that one. Paul. We need to probably set like a max height on this flag thing. Because their flag is weird.
Weird, yeah. Just like that soundtrack I'm using from you guys.
Yeah, kind of like that. That was more creepy though.
So isn't it Nepal's flag is vertical?
It must be. And if you change it back to filter by region, it should pull all of them.
Mine's broken again. I don't understand. I mean, I know it's.
We need to accept handle region at the top. Right here.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thanks, man. Yeah. You must have yours on this. Right.
Okay, so you see how that use effect just works? Right? Because we update the state and then the use effect sees that state update and then it just polls again. Right? Okay, so then we need the search button or the search bar to work, so we also are going to
Very nice.
Search bar. There's a couple ways we could do this. Yeah, let's do it that way. We're just gonna search for the common name on the. I'm not gonna search for a whole bunch of different things. Actually, we could have it do an endpoint, because I think there's an endpoint where you can look at the name, and you can search by country name. It can be native name or partial name. So we could do this endpoint and just pass that and let it hit the API. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to create another function in app, and we're going to call that one handle search. And that one's going to get a name. And then we're going to say if not name, return set endpoint to URL. Otherwise, set endpoint to base URL /name/name. Luckily, I did that base URL thing, so I don't have to type as much. Typing's for suckers. Want to go typing? Get some chocolates.
Chocolate.
Vegan frozen chocolate.
Yeah.
Frozen stars. Yeah, I learned recently.
Well, some art does have one like that. I looked at that person specifically mentioned it.
That was really good.
I had
So
no
I
idea.
figured it had no.
And they always have those super inspirational quotes inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Almost worth the milk
Yeah.
just to be able to read those.
Yep.
Christian opens them and throws the chocolate away.
Yeah.
That's my man.
It's an analog quote generator.
Just for he's just looking for the experience, my man.
$5 for subscription, and you only get like 25
Yeah.
selections through.
All right.
Okay. Once you have that, you need to throw it in the search. And then go to search and handle it. It will be very similar to the drop down. I'll let you all do that. I'm gonna go fill up my water.
I'm gonna pass it through component. Handle search.
Yeah, I did that first. I have to import him on the
Input what?
Have a region in the total search.
Why are you bringing in handle region? Okay, drop down this handle region, it's just here. It says handle change. For search, handle search. Which we just, you run it through here. It's like a pop.
Oh, I'm doing it through. Oh, yes. Now I understand.
And then you have the right to do the on change as well.
Oh, so blue stuff.
It should probably be on submitted for,
I know it's, yes.
Can we use handle change twice or do we have to name it different?
Question.
It's a very good question.
If it's so specific.
Works. Why didn't you do it to me?
I named it handle entry.
It's not.
So search your past number region
Oh my god, it worked.
Did you do on change or on submit?
yeah, what did you do?
I got the bug change. Actually, I'm not sure that it worked really then. I thought it did, but I'm trying out some new ones.
Every time you type something, it just turns white.
Really?
Yeah, so.
I'm just not getting the thing.
Not understanding.
It doesn't work on
Search and drop down around past number region. Drop down. And search. Why do I have this?
Working? Got it?
Yeah, oh my god.
It's working?
Oh, because you're passing. like an value, target value. Right?
Yes.
For this, is it on submit or on click or on change?
Mhm.
Options.
Hey, it works.
So you can use handle change again.
Yeah. Handle changes. So this is local to search, right?
That's what I did. So, okay, export search, handle search, cause handle change, event.
How come Nepal comes up in new?
New?
Well, why do these all come up in
Do you think it has something to do with any of the other inputs?
maybe? It's lame.
Is it lame?
Yes. There we go.
What is it?
If you add a space.
Oh, look, your flag looks like they have an ant on it.
This one?
Look at it.
Caledonia.
Looks like a.
Looks like kebab.
Yeah, kebab or that ant on a kebab,
A kebab ant.
kebab ant.
I tried to ask them also.
Alright, so one other thing. If we watch this though, watch what happens when I go to my network tab and I start typing America. Look at all those calls I just made. So what we want to do is we want to wait for them to stop typing for a certain amount of time. Okay, this is called debouncing. So rather than call handle search every time the change happens, we're going to create a piece of state here called timer. Set timer equals use state from React. Okay, we're going to say if timer clear timeout timer then we're going to say set timer, let's see, timer set timeout I'm going to say 500 milliseconds, and then we'll call handle search in there, and we will set timer T. Okay, so what we're doing is when it comes in, if there's already a timer ID, we're going to clear that timeout by passing that timer ID. Then we're going to create a new timer ID. We're going to get the ID from set timeout. So set timeout returns a number. Okay. And we're going to create a new timeout that after 500 seconds, it'll call handle search. And then we're going to set that ID back to the state. And that way, rather than it calling every 500 milliseconds, it'll clear that function every time we get an on change. Okay. So now, when I come here and I begin typing America, now I have to stop typing for at least 500 milliseconds for it to make that call.
So the event is typing.
The event is anytime there's a change in the input,
Oh,
right? So what we're doing is we're saying, wait 500 milliseconds before you call this handle search. But if a new event happens, then we'll clear that last timeout, meaning we'll just take that old function and throw it away and create a new one. Okay, so every time you type, as long as you typed within 500 milliseconds of the last time you typed, then it will throw the last one away and only make the call once when you stop typing. Now, 500 milliseconds is too long. Sometimes 200 is better. So,
Isn't that just half a second?
yeah, half a second on 500.
Too
So
long.
200 is a quarter of a second. Sometimes, though, it can feel like, so let's set it to 500, right? And come in here and type in there. And then I sit for a second. Because not only am I waiting the time that it takes for me to stop typing, but also the time for the call to come back.
Yeah.
So,
250. 200 is too fast for me. Can't keep up.
okay. So some of those things you have to think about when you're hitting APIs, because there's going to be a few things happening. One, some APIs have a limit on the amount of times you can hit it in a certain amount of time. And so they'll start blocking you because you've hit it too many times. Two, a lot of people that are using your site are going to be using their mobile phone. So every time you make a call, it's passing data back and the phone's using data to call out and to return the call. So if you're constantly hitting endpoints, then you're going to be using their data really fast. People don't like when you do that to them.
Yeah, you know what pisses people off these days, man.
Yeah, it's
Everybody's
true.
short tempers, no patience.
Plus that costs money,
Yeah.
kind of. Most places have unlimited data at this point, but
Right.
this was a bigger issue back in the day.
Oh.
I exercise my patience today in the Costco gas
Woohoo!
Yeah. This lady, two people in front of her, walking away, definitely need.
Yeah, but I realized that our sense of patience has changed so much. You know the light that's down at the bottom of the hill by Cocoa Palms? You know, where it
Get
comes-
rid of those quotes.
Where?
Round handle change, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, now I was sitting there and I just realized every time I sit there, I'm like, this light is too slow. But today I checked, I was the first one. It was only red for 3 minutes and I was freaking out. You know, the light at the, coming up, at the bottom of the hill. I know it was like 3 minutes, what the hell? So I realized it's like, oh, we get trippy with 3 minutes. Like the patience level is like really gone away over time.
Today, on way
You
here,
need to use that
so I was
set timer.
driving
right
in
here.
the left lane and somebody was in the right lane, and I guess that
Where's
blocked
that?
the view of somebody pulling out across
Under
the road.
200?
And it
Uh-huh.
pulled out, and I
Okay.
like slammed on my brakes and like almost hit them and everything. And I just breathed and kept going, like didn't get mad at them and anything. But you know, there was that instinct.
Well, yeah,
But
you know where I realized that comes from? It comes from the fact that the faster the cars get, the more in control we are.
Mhm.
We get really, really controlling. So when something happens, we get road rage. It's just opposite in mind. With all that control, it's such so much power. That's why hockey players get into fights all the time. There's a lot, it's high intense. So where we at now?
I just didn't like that
You don't like it.
nav bar didn't line up, so I went and changed
What
the
is that you
padding.
Nav bar? Okay.
Yeah, just because I wanted it to line up.
So picture 10 out of 100.
Yeah, with like all the, see how the padding is the same all along here?
All right.
So in my nav bar, I just changed it from P6 to PY6 and PX10.
Oh, PY. So what is PY again?
PY is the padding for the X and or the top
Oh,
and
X and
bottom.
Y, okay, yeah, X, Y.
And then-
Gotcha.
Can we have a border around the image of the flag, so it's just border dash black?
You wanna
Doesn't
make,
seem to do anything.
Yeah, I think you have to do border first.
Just
yeah.
border.
yeah,
Just
do it.
border and then border the color.
Border.
And then also probably border
Border
solid.
What's the difference between border and
Border none.
So an outline is an accessibility thing. It'll only show up on like form elements. And it's like a glow to tell you that that element is active.
Oh, I see.
Whereas the border is just a line that you create. So the border will always be there.
Can you change this into width?
I was having trouble with flags with white on the bottom. Like
It's
South Korea. And then that's why it just looks like a flag. Monaco. Monaco.
This one?
Yeah.
Why?
It just looks like half, like 2/3 of the flag. So I put the border just so that it's like, when it's there, it's just white.
true, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, it's kinda hard to see where the flag ends, looks like it's part of it.
Yeah, or can we
So like
add,
Finland looks like it has a cross on the middle of a white flag.
can we add like padding around the image or something?
Image. Yeah, I guess it's all connected.
I thought we just push the words down a bit and make the card bigger.
Better.
There you go.
Like that?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's just a little separation there.
What is the T?
Top.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit of separation goes a long way. It would be nice
The
if
other
we
thing
could,
we
if
could
we could
do-
overlap, you know, when you overlap the flags, so leave a shadow on the word.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if we just throw a shadow?
Yeah, that would be even better actually. Yeah, see? Cause then, yeah, it doesn't look so weird.
Look, all of them are the wrong size. We need to
Yeah.
fix that.
That's gonna be a problem with the one that's vertical.
So what we wanna do is,
Could you, is there such thing, like, I mean, how would you overlap though? If you were, could you do that?
overlap what?
Like, you know, where the image is over the, overlapping with the wording, like just sort of like that, that needs kind of overlapping look. How would you do that?
So the image overlapped this,
Not the whole thing, but you know, just at the top,
So probably just a shadow, no?
just a bigger shadow.
yeah, just a bigger shadow and make it look like it's overlapping.
Yeah, if you did like a really big shadow.
That's how that looks.
Like
Sort of
that?
like that, there you go. Cause then that way it looks like it's, yeah, it's just sitting above it. And it's still connected, yeah.
Let's do max height. It's gonna be 208. And then
Kind of
maintain.
works it, huh?
What's that?
It works the flag.
With the
That,
shadow?
the
Oh, okay.
object cover.
No, still didn't do it. Let's just do height. So that,
Yeah.
This is where
You ever see the mountain glaciers? That's awesome. It's just water, it looks like it goes down for miles, you see north, nothing, it goes down.
That's cool.
It's
This one's still smaller. I don't get why.
Maybe they are small people. Small people need small flags.
Oh, there's probably not a 70. But you don't see the whole flag on some of them is the problem. So maybe I'll do contain. And I want to get rid of the shadow. 'Cause that looks dumb.
Because we live in Europe, travel around Europe, like so cheap. You can get all kind of deals. The Euro pass.
It's super easy to get around here.
So
Yeah, we just get the Euro pass for like no money and just take it all the way around.
$100 or something. The thing about going to other countries like this is buildings are old, like old 1600s. It's like no. I know.
oh, look at these numbers are dumb.
Oh, yeah. That looks weird, yeah.
We should fix that.
It gives it a more clean look without the big shadow.
Yeah, I just did the border.
Yeah, it looks good.
Then I made it so they're all the same size.
Right. No, because you gotta, it's all you need with
Not
that.
sure if I like the border. I'm gonna get rid of the border. Oops. Yeah, I think I like it better without the border.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me if you, because when we go to a dark,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna see the whole flag.
Right.
So,
Gotcha. It's clean, I mean, it's nice when it's clean, you know, very light of colors, you don't wanna
Yeah.
over
so
complicate it with all those colors.
I set the height to 72 and I added object contain so that it shows the whole flag. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do, we make this dark mode work, but we'll worry about that later because that's going to take a lot of work. We're going to have to go through and add a bunch of dark stuff to the CSS. So what we want to do is we want to make it so when you click on one of these cards, it takes you to a new page for that card, right? So yeah, let's do that.
Do you have object contain? What is that object?
Yeah, contain. See, they don't have that, but they also don't show any that are like the different sized ones.
Cause there's some that are really small, you know, like,
Yeah,
what's the name of that?
Could do.
But Barong,
could do cover.
Where's Barong?
Just gonna only show part of it.
Where's Barong? Barong's in the Middle East, where would that be? Or even Tibet's flag is kinda small.
I broke it. You broke it. How did I break it?
They don't even have Tibet.
Oh, it's real broken. Why? Countries.map is not a function. .404 MTIB. I call. That's funny.
Yeah, I see it there. Oh, that's Nepal.
So we'll have to also handle
What
some
about Nepal?
stuff like that.
Can you check Nepal's
Yeah.
flag then? Cause we have Nepal on something. There we go.
Yeah,
Look at
just
that.
doesn't show the whole thing. Yeah, just doesn't show the whole thing.
Okay, cause it's one of those kind of weird flags.
Yeah.
So we can make it look like this, and then in the page itself, we can show the whole flag.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Right, just an image.
That way the cards are all the same size, uniform. Okay, so we need to do a few things. First, we're going to create a new component, and we're going to call it dashboard. Let's see. Let's do this instead. Instead of in components, in source, create a new folder called pages. And in pages, we want a dashboard JS. That's going to be export constant dashboard. And we're going to go into app. And we're going to take the return from app and cut it. And dashboard, we're going to return apps return. And then you're going to have a bunch of red stuffs. So probably want to keep all this in app for now.
What does the dashboard look like?
It's just everything that was in apps return.
Okay.
Okay. Then we need these in dashboard. And then we also need to accept handle region, handle search, and countries. Okay, so once you have that, then in app.js, you're going to render dashboard
So what's
pages.
that third thing you imported? Up, down, that bar, what else?
I just took all the ones from the top of here.
Oh, okay, search the dashboard, okay, gotcha.
I just copied all that and pasted it into dashboard.
Okay, I gotcha.
Countries, handle region, and handle search.
Never created a user effect. We already have that originally. If you imported that, I see it at the top.
In dashboard? No.
No, you didn't do it. Oh, just the third.
Dashboard is just a function that returns,
Gotcha. Okay.
and it just accepts these three parameters. So once you do that, you should be able to refresh, and it should be broken because it needs to go up. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Also, we don't need these. Okay, so app.js doesn't need those extra imports. It just has the dashboard one, which looks like this, and then dashboard is everything that was in app.js, but it has these imports and those props. Once you have all that, it should render like normal.
So you lost the return, yeah? It's gone.
You can keep it.
Oh, okay.
You just need to put brackets. You can do
Oh, gotcha.
and then
Oh, okay.
just get rid of the return. Get rid of the word
Just
return.
get rid of it, return
No,
Yeah.
just implicitly return. Get rid of that bracket.
that. Yeah,
No, just get rid of those. And save. Take this up to the top. One more. Now save it. Oh,
oh no, it's something missing, I didn't get everything copied down, that's why.
go to the bottom. Get rid of that one.
Just the bottom.
Bottom two. Now save it. Yeah, there you go. So, is it rendering?
You see?
Yep. Guys working?
Why am I like that?
Cause that you
I have like
have
17.
contain, right? I changed it to cover.
Oh, okay.
You'll miss some of your photo, but
But it's better than, oh, that's not better.
that's very ugly.
That's awful.
Just keep it as contained.
Yeah. And then I'll do it on background.
But when we do a dark one, it's gonna have a background already because the card will be not white.
Dark mode.
And when we go to dark mode, so then when it has a background on the image itself.
It's automatically white, no? Or is it just accepting?
Yeah, it's just automatically white from
Where
that.
do you drop them down bar and search?
You can just get rid of those in the app because they're now in dashboard. And in dashboard, over there, then they are in your source folder, so it's
Dot
the
dot.
dot instead of just dot. Yeah, no.
Yeah, dot slash components.
She doesn't have the components folder though. So you just need to change your dot slash to dot dot on those inputs, because you're going up a folder. Yeah.
How does it drop down?
Get rid of drop down.
Well, it. Check.
Rendered? It
No,
did render,
I
right?
just, yeah, but I'm just trying to find, I think somewhere I got lost, I don't know what happened to it. Just trying to find it.
It's that one right there.
Yeah, but it's not there, as you can see, it's that.
Or is it?
Refresh it?
I don't think so.
This one might have been there earlier. This is my, that's the egghead.
There you
Oh,
Well, it's probably something more search.
go. Probably just had not, you probably have another browser open maybe?
yeah, I do. Lots of browsers open, as you can see.
So, alright. We good there? Everybody's rendering right? Okay, so we can close the dashboard. Pretty much close everything.
When you said country and stop map is not a function.
When we were searching is the only time I had that. Because we get a 404 back and so it doesn't give us a return. And I just refreshed it.
Yeah, when she deletes everything from the search bar, like so she types something and then deletes it, it goes blank.
Do you have this line in your handle search?
Nope. Maybe not, it doesn't, let's see.
Yeah?
Return, no, I don't have the word return
Oh.
on one.
Yeah, so then what it would be doing is doing both of those. Alright, so fixed it? Maybe?
I don't think so.
You just had a typo in it.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, that looks good, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna open up our terminal and we're gonna npm install React router. You have to stop first.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Command. C.
Control.
The control C, yeah. There we go.
So really high population numbers.
Some what?
Population numbers. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah.
how much we
Oh yeah, let's fix that too. Do npm install, what's the number format? Let me just make sure. npm.im/number format. React number format. Yeah, let's do that one. So npm install React number format. Hit enter. And then if you stopped, then restart. So in dashboard that we already closed, right? Is where that is. If you go down to the population, and then you put number format around it.
I'm sorry, if you go to dashboard for the number format.
Yeah, the word number format.
Yep, this has to be imported at the top from React number format.
I gotta figure out why.
Includes a void element tag and must neither have children or use dangerous. Wait a second.
We'll just do the installs first.
Oh yeah, so it's gotta be value and then
So,
display type. What's display type? String is text or input. Okay, so it needs to be like this. And then get rid of that. And this should be value equals, and it should be display type equals text.
So number format value equals.
And then
That's self-closing.
prefix, suffix, allow negative, decimal scale,
just finish it. Easy.
decimal separator,
I don't know.
separator.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thousands separate.
AJ.
Yes.
Do you want to figure out why my terminal keeps bleeding out every time I try to type something? This is because I pressed enter when I should have known. But if I just do npm install the React number format, it just disappears and I don't know why.
Is it because it's too long? So make this full screen. That's just
Oh
too
my
long.
gosh, that really? Okay. Npm install React number form.
Format.
AT.
Okay.
So it's probably just something to do with the theme that you have for C#. And also, because the name of this folder is really fun.
Okay, and where did you input number format?
Alright, so where we had the population,
After confirmation.
yeah, so after population, then you do number format, give it a value, display type, and thousand separator. Make sure you,
Thousand separated, what does that even mean?
that's what tells it to add the commas.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha, big daddy.
Okay, then
Okay, and make sure you import it at the top of the
Import it
file.
at the top.
You already have it.
That's what I thought, because I didn't see the squiggly lines.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, I was looking for it, so I need to put.
Nope.
function. Okay. Oh,
It's a default import.
oh, okay. So when I did the
When you start
close, when
typing,
it sub-closed,
yeah,
that's when it did that? Okay.
or yeah, when you start typing number format, it should have showed up, and you just hit enter.
Gotcha. So pretty much, a lot of times React does a lot of things for you. It's hard to really mess
VS,
it up.
that's VS Code.
Oh,
that's
VS
doing
Code will
it.
do that? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. VS Code is the one.
Yeah, VS Code is awesome.
I hear some people always talk about other things, but they say, but VS Code, I always try to go past it because I guess everybody uses it, so they want to do something different, but they always say, they revert back.
Yeah, VS Code's a lot better. What happened?
My region and capital, like the results are bolded. And yours aren't.
My region and the capital aren't inside of the span.
Mm.
I see.
Oh, yours
They're
are
just
bold and
next
all
to
that.
it.
So you want us to have bold population and region and capital?
No.
No, okay.
Semi-bold.
Well, the name is semi-bolded.
Yeah, it is,
But the value is not.
slightly,
No, I don't think I
Same.
have it.
same, yeah.
Yours is the same, yeah.
Okay.
So if you go to the,
AppJS,
it should be in dashboard.
the dashboard, okay. Something I left out. Oh, yeah, because you were doing a lot of stuff and I just kind of shut down.
No, it's just 'cause there's a, so the font, or the class name should be font space semi, or font hyphen semi bold, all one word.
Oh, okay.
No hyphen on the semi bold.
Oh, okay.
And then no space in between the hyphen and semi bold.
And then React number.
Yeah, like that.
From.
And then just get on the next one, just get rid of that extra hyphen on those semi bolds.
Okay.
So you had it right, just the font name was wrong. You're probably not running anymore because you did the installs.
Yeah, well,
Alright, so we installed React Router. On Tuesday we will learn how to use it.
okay.
But we'll make it so that when you click, then it'll take you to a new page. And yes, it will be great.
Okay.
Okay?
Very good.
Cool.
Are we all on the computer on Monday?
Monday?
Yes, we're all gonna, the party.
Oh, yeah.
He forgot.
Oh my god,
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What party?
I'm excited to,
Ready?
show him, I'm excited to, translate this board game I was developing 3 years ago that out to code.
What's that?
It's a board game I started 3 years ago that I never finished.
Noise.